Hey everyone, welcome to Board Game Talk. My name is Jet. Today on the show, we are going to a galaxy far, far away. That's right, we are going to be talking about Star Wars. Over the last few years, Star Wars has become a major player in the board game scene, off the strength of hit board game after hit board game. And a lot of what makes Star Wars tick has been translated into awesome board games, primarily made by Fantasy Flight. Today on the show, we are going to be covering one of those games, and that is Star Wars X-Wing Miniatures. I was holding up. Star Wars X-Wing Miniatures. In Star Wars X-Wing Miniatures, each player takes control of one of the factions in the Star Wars universe. So on this side, we are playing as the Rebels. Over on the other side of the table, we've got the Imperials. Before we continue, let's take a quick look at the ships. So as you can see, this is the X-Wing that is fully painted. Great detail on that. Nice little bit. These have to be my favorite components in all of board games because of how good they look. Now let's take a look at the TIE Fighters. As you can see, these are also fully painted, highly detailed figures. All of the ships in the X-Wing series look awesome and are built extremely well. Below each ship is an info card with the vitals of each ship. So for example, that orange number here is skill. There's stats here for attack and defense, as well as its overall shield and hull values. And the most important thing is probably this red cone right here, which is the firing cone. So what's done here is when it's time to attack, you will line up this firing ruler to see if anything is in range within that cone. You can only attack within the cone, so most ships can't fire behind them like so. At the start of each round, players are going to simultaneously set the values on their movement dials and place them face down. Once they're all down, in ascending skill value, so that is the orange number on the base, in ascending order they will reveal their dials and perform one action. So in this case, this TIE Fighter pilot takes a soft turn 3 spaces. And you do that with these movement rulers. So here's the 3, we'll place it against the base here, and then we'll just move it along. Like so. A pilot can also perform one action. So there are some green icons here that do different things, and for the sake of this demo, let's just do a barrel roll here. So for that, we'll take this one straight movement, put it to the side, and we'll move the pilot here. Now we move on to this next X-Wing pilot, who's the next highest in skill. Oh, he takes a sharp turn left. So that doesn't really help either his cause at all, but so he's just gonna move here like so. Finally, let's jump over to Luke Skywalker, who moves 3 soft turn to the left. So we'll line up the ruler and move Luke Skywalker over. Now we move on to the combat phase, and we determine who is in sight of getting shot. So, Luke's attack cone goes from here to here, and we are going to use this ruler to determine if anyone is in range by moving across. And yes, the X-Wing over here is in range of attack, and so Luke will roll his attack dice, and the X-Wing will roll his defense dice, and we will resolve damage from there. Play continues like this until only one faction is standing. While we were only playing with an X-Wing and 2 TIE Fighters, there are other ships you can add to your game. So here's a look at the Millennium Falcon, which is sold separately. And here is a look at Boba Fett's Slave One, also sold separately. There are, at this point, dozens of different ships, so you can build out your armies any way you want. There are also different base sets, so we've been playing with the standard X-Wing miniature set, which is based on episodes 4, 5, and 6, and there's also a new blue box, which is based on Star Wars The Force Awakens. So there are some slight differences. The paint jobs, I don't know if you can see through the plastic here and the light, glare from the light, I'm sorry. The X-Wings and the TIE Fighters have different paint jobs. There are also different pilot cards in the game, and there's a different damage deck. So when ships take critical damage, they have different effects, status effects that the ships have to take, and the cards that are used for that are different between this game and this game. For the most part, if you're a casual player, it's not really going to matter, but for competitive players, you're going to have to choose between one of the two damage decks. When it comes to which version to buy, it's really a matter of preference. If you want to fly as Luke Skywalker, get the red box. If you want to fly as Poe Dameron, get the blue box. That being said, if you are looking for a cost-effective way to build your fleets, buy both. It is cheaper to buy 2 base sets than to buy 1 base set and then buying the X-Wing and the 2 TIE Fighters separately. On top of that, you're going to get an extra set of rulers, an extra set of dice, which will help you when you're trying to resolve combat with bonuses. I love Star Wars X-Wing miniatures. It does such a tremendous job of giving you that feel of piloting an X-Wing, TIE Fighters, and other ships in the Star Wars universe as you're zipping around the table and trying to attack your opponents. The ship quality is amazing. When you look at the X-Wings and the TIE Fighters, they're fully painted out of the box and they're super detailed. In my opinion, they're the best components in any board game out there. When it's time to assemble a team, you have so many options at your disposal, as you can pick different pilots for your ships, different ship combinations, and secondary weapons, and your team is going to feel very different from your opponent's team. That is if you get into the expansion side of the game. More on that in a second. My favorite part of the game has to be the movement. By using the movement dials instead of a grid-based board, the ships can move in a very fluid manner that really feels like the ships. And because the movement options between dials are different, an X-Wing feels different from a Millennium Falcon, which also feels different from a TIE Fighter. The elephant in the room is the number of ships you get in the base box. As you can see, the game only comes with 1 X-Wing and 2 TIE Fighters. While it's technically enough to get you started, it's very paltry. You're going to play through it once or twice and say to yourself, damn, I need more ships. At this point, there are tons of extra ships you can buy and a lot of choices to customize your armies any way you want, but I do kind of wish there were a few more ships out of the box so that you could at least assemble a team that's more than just 1 X-Wing and 2 TIE Fighters. Overall though, Star Wars X-Wing is a fantastic game that you should definitely check out. That is it for today's show. At some point we will talk about some of the other Star Wars games in the Star Wars board game universe. But for now, I hope you are satisfied with this look at X-Wing miniatures. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And of course, check out the website inthirdperson.com for more articles and videos on video games, board games, comic books, and other nerdy pursuits. So until next time, my name is Jet, and thank you for watching.